Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. I know it has been a while since I posted any related content to For Honor or any other video games, but I just really wanted to get into this content because, well, BP, Blackbriar, Vortiger, whatever you decide to call him, I personally call him BP, or Vortiger, again, doesn't matter. I just really think that this character is very interesting, and come on, he's edgy. You saw my warden. It's just too good. But, anyway, his combos and everything about him just makes him like a Conqueror Warden mix, which I found is very fascinating because I like Conk and I like Warden. A little bit more Warden, but anyway. This guide is going to be a little bit different to my usual stuff, judging by how it's going to be the whole thing. Everything is going to be like, instead of having a basic, advanced, and master, I'm just honestly going to go with everything that I know. And it's mostly going to be a basic, but to be honest, that's really all you need because everything else is going to be based around playstyle. And this one's going to add in his playstyle because he is very straightforward when it comes down to his playstyle. Because only a couple ways will work, and I mean, to be honest, you can play defensively, but I find aggression to be a little bit more unusual and throws off your opponent quite well. So, anyway, I'm just going to go on, and I just wanted to say a genuine thank you for anyone who keeps watching these, because to be honest, I keep fluctuating in terms of time schedules. And then, of course, there is one last thing that I wanted to go over, and that is I am now streaming over at Twitch. I try to do it every once in a while, but I'm going to start putting up stuff on my Twitter, hopefully, and then also on Discord, hopefully again. But anyway, we'll be going over that stuff, and especially with more For Honor related, but most of the time we'll be playing Siege or something with the guys, and most likely that's going to be really interesting. So you're probably going to see a very unusual side of me besides this. So anyway, I should stop keeping you here, and hopefully we'll get into this very short and very time-consuming video. So anyway, have a great rest of the day, and I will see you at the end of the video. Peace. Here are the combos, unblockables, and counters of Blackbriar, so feel free to pause the video to also check out this slide and the damage outputs so you can get a good understanding. Anyway, let's get on to the combos. Harsh Requiem is 2 attacks in any direction, so light, light, heavy, heavy, light, heavy, heavy, light. But be careful because this can sometimes be very risky with the light as a finisher, but also the heavy has the undodgeable attribute, which comes in really handy for stopping assassins or others alike from getting out of your combos. Now again, this can go in any direction as shown here. And then one thing that should also be noted is the combo heavies do 40 damage while the side neutral heavies only do 30. Tenebrous Thrust is like Warden's dash forward attack. While this seems to have limited range, it can combo with other things and it acts like a heavy startup. Sprint attack, hence the name, is just while you're sprinting, just throw a heavy. This attack is really slow, but it is really useful for catching your opponent off guard to start up the battle. Full Arc Stance is Vortiger's / Blackbriar's all guard. Now, this is very useful for stopping incoming attacks, but be careful because this does drain stamina quite hefty depending on the attack. Now, it can also be interrupted by unblockables without countering, which we'll get into a bit. Now, this can sometimes drain a lot of stamina, but again, depends on which unblockable. Another direct counter to all guards in the game is Guard Break, and this is even still towards the Blackbriar because he can be guard broken, and that's pretty much the only counter to his stance, as we'll show in a bit. Now, this also applies to unblockable attribute attacks. Floor counter is something that is very intriguing about Vortiger / Blackbriar, that he is able to flip over your opponent when timed with an attack. Now, this is very useful, especially if you're trying to counter something with all guard and then you use it as a parry. Now, again, this can sometimes be very risky, but it's very useful for stopping your opponent's unblockable, normal attack, and including by a bash, which we'll get onto in a bit. Now, I'll leave these as an example so you can watch as also I fail, and on how risky this can be. And I'll leave you guys to that.
Victory.
And as stated before, it can flip over people with unblockables. This includes Warren Shoulder Bash, Shigoki, and these are just some examples. But this is really useful, especially for those conk players out there or Warden players that like to bash a lot. So watch out for this whenever you're fighting one.
Victory.
Bulwark Slash is another unblockable that you can do in Bulwark Stance. Although it's just a generic unblockable attack, so I won't go into any detail except that it does 30 damage. A Rise and Spin is actually Vortiger / Blackprier's zone attack, which is quite unusual judging by how it's the only one that doesn't confirm damage that has the unblockable attribute. Now this can be in combination with a light or a heavy, but the heavy is not confirmed, while the light is. And of course with the introduction of a new heavy knight hero, there is a shield bash. Now of course this is like traditional bashes. It confirms a light, which does 20 damage, and it can come from any direction, so be wary when fighting Blackprior. Hawk's Charge is just a heavy startup like Conk's. It can go straight into Bash, and it allows you to get a light off and really throw your opponent off guard. Now, this can be combined with the light in any direction, just like Tenebrous Rising. But be careful again, as this can sometimes be very risky, especially whenever you're in the middle of the heavy startup.
Victory.
Now here comes the fun part about Blackprior. He has a crushing counter-strike in every direction, or as they like to call it, a superior light. But to be honest, it's just crushing counter-strikes. This can happen pretty much with any light in any direction, and when timed, it allows you to go straight into Tenebrous Rising, and it confirms a 20 damage light. So that means it confirms 40 damage off of crushing counter-strike. Now be careful because again, this could be risky if they fainted out, but is pretty stable if you're able to pull it off, and is a good way at stopping guard break attempts and gives you a good opportunity to put the pressure on your opponent.
Victory.
And along with the theme of crushing counter-strikes, Tenebrous Thrust also confirms crushing counter-strike, but it can't be combined with Tenebrous Rising, but allows you to go straight into another combo, such as a light or a heavy. This is very useful because it can also confirm an execution if landed at low health. Now I'll leave you to watch the rest of it so you can see the timings and the risk factors, and so I will see you at the end of this clip. So one kind of unusual thing about Blackprior is he can counter deflex. Now this doesn't apply to all heroes, but it applies to most. So try using this a little more, especially within combos and within the playstyle that we'll soon get into. Now, it only confirms 30 damage, but it is pretty unique, so please use it. So the playstyle I like to implement with Blackprior is, well, very aggressive. He has a lot of moves that allow you to put the pressure on your opponent, and so that's what I exactly do. Keep the pressure on, don't give him any leeway, don't let him pull off anything, because you could shut him down pretty quick with him, and take a few risks here and there. With your massive health pool, it can be a little bit better. Of course, you don't want to take him every second of every duel, but it comes in handy, especially with throwing your opponent off guard. So, Borok stands to counter everything, and, well, keep the edge going. So that's the end of the guide. I know it was quite short to the point, didn't have much in terms of key bindings, but I find that very fascinating about it. Let me know what you guys thought about the different format and how it really changed up your experience with learning new characters, at least this character. So one last thing that I wanted to get out of the way since the video was over is I am starting to stream over on twitch.tv. So it is twitch.tv/Skylar5014. I will leave a link down in the description to both mine and AK's. He's a good friend of mine, and I have a video out for him. So if you want to go see that and you get to see how we interact, he's actually a really cool guy, and go leave him a follow. So one thing that I also wanted to get out of the way was, what do you call Black Prior? Do you call him Black Prior? Do you call him Vortiger? Do you call him BP? Like, there's multiple different scenarios. So I just wanted to really get your guys' opinion based around what you guys call him. So one thing that I also wanted to get out of the way, just at the very end, I know I'm holding you guys here, but I just wanted to say a genuine thank you for people who stuck around this very small channel of mine, especially with how many videos I put up. But it seemed to be people like them. I know probably most of them are my friends, but still, just wanted to give everyone a thank you, and especially a thanks to Sandman and Fatman that were both featured in this video. So thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Deus Vult. Or Deus Vult, as they may say now. And Edgewalk for the win.